Hello, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Welcome to day 6 of my 12 cast-ons 2020 adventure. Halfway through, that's just, wow, yeah. Let's not go on a waffle about time again. So I hope you are all doing well. I've got a semi-busy day today. I am back to work-ish. Although when I say I'm back to work, I am basically doing the minimum. So I'm paying bills, answering emails and shipping out any orders. Everything else can wait until we properly get back to work next week. So I've got a little bit of that to do this morning before I cast on. A trip to the post office and some packaging to do. And then I can have a nice cosy afternoon, hopefully casting on today's project. So the pattern that I'm using for today's project is the Aurealis, which is another pattern by Jen Steingass. I've already cast on the mid-coast sweater during this cast on frenzy. This pattern, bringing in my friend's elements to this pattern was kindly gifted to me by the lovely Terry. So thank you so much, Terry, for the gift of this pattern. Ever since you sent it to me, I have been wanting to cast on this sweater, but again, I just never seem to quite get round to it. So today is the day, and I will be using for this a yarn that I reclaimed from a previous round of the 12 cast-ons. It's this glorious black and blue yarn from Midwinter Yarns. And it's a 100% Welsh wool, blue face Leicester and black blue face Leicester. That's confusing, isn't it? And this is the Captain's Coat colourway, and I think I've got 5 or 6 skeins of this, and I originally only cast on for a cardigan from this, a pattern by Carrie Westerman, but I just wasn't really drawn to work on it. And I think if you watched those videos, you might remember that the original pattern that I'd picked out was a nice bright colour, and I was knitting this sort of cabled cardigan in this navy, and whilst I love the colour, it just wasn't appealing to me in that particular pattern. So I decided to rip that out, and I'm going to be pairing that with some of my own handspun yarn for the colourwork section of this sweater. And this is bringing another friend's element to my project. The Rolags that I spun this yarn from were a gift from the lovely Jeanette, who is our moderator over in Ravelry, and oh gosh, quite some time ago now, she sent me a whole selection of these rainbow Rolags that she'd made, and I spun them up. I've got another quantity of this rainbow yarn in my bag, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this is going to be enough for me to knit the colourwork section of the Aurelius. I guess we'll soon find out. So yes, those are the plans for today. I don't have to do any yarn winding because where I frogged this project before, I've already got a couple of balls of this wound up, and as you've already seen, some of the handspun wound up, so I am literally ready to go. Just as soon as I have gotten the rest of the bits and pieces that I need to do today out of the way. Back from my walk to the post office, and as I got home, the postman was delivering this giant package for me, and it's a package from the lovely Judith. Hi Judith, if you're watching. And she let me know before Christmas that she wanted to send me some yarn so that I could make a project from the saltwater books. I don't know, I think I featured them on one of my shop update videos. They're a lovely collection of patterns. There's 3 books altogether, mittens, gifts and classics, and they're all based around patterns that are very traditional to Newfoundland. And a lot of them use the Briggs and Little yarn, which I know is, I think, fairly easy to get hold of over in Canada, but not easy to get hold of here. And Judith kindly reached out to me and said she would love to gift me some. So I have opened up the package and emptied everything out, and there are just so many amazing things inside the package. Judith, you have completely spoiled me, and yeah, so thoughtful of you, thank you. So let me share what was in the package. So a couple of treats. First, there were these chicken bones, which sound very bizarre, but they're actually spicy cinnamon flavoured candy with unsweetened chocolate. And Judith in her note said that these were a sort of a bit of a tradition in New Brunswick area where she's from, and they're a bit like Sprouts here in the UK. So sort of traditional festive fare. So I shall look forward to giving those a try later. She also sent some lovely maple meringues that have got a little bit squashed, but she did mention that they could be sprinkled onto porridge or oatmeal or something, which sounds like an amazing idea to me. And then there was also a little package which said do not open until the 25th, but we are past the 25th now, so I was safe to open. And this is such a special and thoughtful little gift. It says made by Danielle White of Tall Pines. So there's a little business card in here, and inside this little pouch, well, on the outside first, there's a lovely stitch marker with this beautiful orange glittery confetti in. But on the inside were 12 of these amazing progress keepers, which are just such a lovely, thoughtful gift. So I can put those onto, I'm feeling a bit teary, compose yourself. I can put those onto my 12 cast-ons, so I shall go back and add them to the projects that I've already started, and then I'll keep them close by and continue to add them to the rest of my cast-ons. And then there is so much yarn, so much yarn. So here we go. I'm going to go and grab some scissors because Judith has vacuum packed this, so I need to open them up. Right, so I'm going to attack these bags and try and avoid snipping yarn. I love receiving these. The yarn, they go from flat to puffy in no time at all. There are 3 skeins of a Briggs & Little Heritage 2-ply. These are in the Quoddy Blue colourway, and this is the Yellow Woo W-O colourway. Don't they look amazing together? Package 2. We have copper and rust. God, look at those. It's rust. Yummy. Absolutely beautiful. And then in these packages, I think, are the yarns that Judith sent me specifically for a pattern. She said she's picked out yarns for the moose hat pattern. So in here I've got bleached white, granite, which is the mould colourway, and then there's also a skein of orange, of course. So those were all tucked in one package, and then there's one more to open and expand. This is the dark grey. Far too many for me to be able to hold properly at once. Thank you so much, Judith. I'm going to search out the pattern and figure out what yarns are for the pattern. Here we are. It is Wednesday the 30th of December and I am back to chat to you about my progress on the Aurealis from yesterday. But first, time to chat about some of the lovely projects that the Yarn and Yarns community has been casting on. I have to confess, I've fallen a little bit behind with the comments. I was hoping to kind of get caught up to yesterday's video, but I got completely obsessed with knitting on yesterday's cast on, so I hope you will forgive me and I will catch up. So if you have let me know about your cast on and I haven't yet mentioned you on the videos, then don't worry, I will get to you, I promise. And please don't stop commenting and let me know what you're casting on, because it's one of the most joyful things, and I do read them straight away. I just wait until I've replied to you to add to my little running list. Anyway, you don't really need to know about that. Let's get on with the cast on goodness. So Angela has cast on 4 pairs of socks and a couple of hats, which the hats have also been finished, so that's an amazing start to the 12 cast-ons. And she's also started a Bluebird of Happiness. I love that little project, and yes, you could totally cast on 12 Bluebirds of Happiness if you wanted to and still count yourself as part of the cow. Our second Angela, there's quite a few Angelas that comment on the channel, has cast on a hat for her husband and is hoping to dip her toes into mosaic knitting as part of the 12 cast-ons, which is lovely. I've heard quite a few people mention that they're using the 12 cast-ons as a way to explore some new techniques that they haven't tried before, which I absolutely love. Jane has cast on the Tracy hat, which is a pattern from the Grocery Girls. Kim Knits and Crochets, who has a channel here on YouTube, started some socks. Charlie, our lovely Charlie of Charlie Buttons Yarns, has started a colourwork cowl. Jeanette has decided to embark on a bit of a gnome knitting adventure. She hasn't quite started yet. She's waiting for some needles to arrive, but Jeanette is Hawk and Oak over on Instagram, and if you don't follow her and you're on Instagram, I would highly recommend it. Her pictures are just amazing and her colour palette is gorgeous. So her, when I grow up, I want to be Jeanette. But I'm sure her gnomes, given the colours that she likes to work with, are going to be just divine. Amy has cast on a pair of slippers, which she is spinning as a gift for an elder of an Indigenous community that live close to her, and she has spun and dyed the yarn for those. So what an amazing gift they will be. I love the sound of those, Amy. I hope you'll share them over on Instagram or over in our Ravelry threads at some point, because I would love to see those. Keita, hi Keita, has started a pair of socks, which she purchased the yarn for her socks, she said, from Yarn and Yarns. You don't get a bonus entry, but you do get a thumbs up and a big thank you from me. And she's also started a lacy baby cardigan, which sounds adorable. Kate has started a love note, so I think that's at least 2 love notes that have been started during our cast on cowl. Bendy has cast on a Christmas star, and I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation, but I think it's Fana. You'll have to correct me, Bendy, if I'm wrong. I looked it up, it's a sort of Swedish name for the star. Look up, there's a little pattern for an ornament for that on Ravelry. I don't know if that's the one that Bendy is using, but it's really cute. So I've added that to my queue, actually. Be nice to knit some star ornaments for the tree for next year. The lovely Sue has started a pair of sweet vanilla toe-up socks, and she's trying to get over her avoidance of toe-up socks. So I'm in that club with you, Sue. Like I said before, I can knit toe-up socks, they're just not my favourite. So well done for grasping the bull by the horns, or the socks by the toe. Yeah, well done for grasping those socks by the toe and getting stuck in. I love it, love it. So yes, thank you to everyone who has commented to let me know of your cast-ons, and I'm going to do my best to catch up today. Right, as for my progress, as I already mentioned, I got a little bit obsessed with knitting my Aurelius. It doesn't mean I've got tons of progress, because obviously sweater, but I stayed up a little bit later than I should have. I'm having a bit of a later start today, consequently. But here is my progress, and I'm well into the colour work section, and I'm loving how this navy blue from Midwinter Yarns is playing with my hand spun. If you remember, I spun this yarn on my drop spindles from some beautiful rainbow rolags that my lovely friend Jeanette sent to me. So yes, it is progressing fairly well so far. Oops, stitches popping off the end of the needle there. Better quickly pick those up. So I think the colour work chart for the yoke is about 50 rows, and I've just finished, or I'm just about to start row 10, I can't remember, so I'm about a fifth of the way through. And yeah, it's just a real joy to knit. I stayed up way later than I should have knitting last night, and I started using my number 6 progress keeper for day 6 of the cast-ons, and I'm using that as a beginning of round marker at the moment, but I think I'll swap that out and just use it as a progress keeper for when I come back to this project, and I'll use another beginning of the row stitch marker. So yeah, Aurelius is well underway. There's a short row section at the back, so there's a lot more of the navy blue sort of at the back than at the front. Hand spun is fairly uneven. There's some thin bits and some thicker bits. If I show you the floats, you'll probably be able to see that a little bit better, but it's knitting up absolutely fine. Like on the front it looks fine. So it's the joy of hand spun. And actually this Midwinter black and blue yarn has got some nice character to it as well. A bit thicker and thinner in spots. You can see that's quite a thick strand up there, and then there's some finer bits. I don't mind that at all. As I say, I think it adds character, and I think it matches quite, it's not, the variations obviously are not as pronounced as my hand spun. My hand spun's very thick and thin. Yeah, it gives a nice bit of extra character that matches somewhat with my hand spun, and it's so lovely and soft, this yarn. So that's it for my day 6. Another sweater cast on. I think if the fit is nice, then I think this has the potential to be possibly one of my most favourite garments. But we shall see. It's early days yet to be proclaiming that. It's just, I love the colour combination, how it's working up. As usual, I will, when I'm working a top-down sweater, I'll knit the yoke and then I'll try it on. But I'm really enjoying this project, so if the fit isn't quite right, then I can definitely see myself ripping back and knitting again. I really want this project to work out, so yeah, we shall see. It'll be a while yet before we get to that stage. Right, I'm going to sign off for today. I've got some bits and pieces to do before I come back and start my next video with chatting about today's cast on. But yes, whichever way, I shall be back tomorrow to chat to you about my next project. So I hope that you will pop by and join me again then. But until we get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.